Chosen one, stop scrolling and anchor your spirit to my voice right now. Take one slow breath, look around your home, and release that sudden pressure in your chest. If you've noticed unusual tension in your house, a restless atmosphere, or a fear you can't explain, don't panic. Stay present. Maybe the last 72 hours have felt strangely unsettled. Perhaps you woke up at 3 in the morning with your heart racing, listening to every sound outside. Maybe you walked from room to room yesterday, checking a lock, a window, or a light, wondering why your peace felt disturbed. Checking a lock, a window, or a light, wondering why your peace felt disturbed. Or maybe nothing obvious happened, but your home has felt heavy, and you've been carrying a sense that something needs your attention. Hear this clearly. This message is not here to create fear. It is here to call you back to wisdom, prayer, and peace. If there is a real physical concern in your home, check it calmly, secure what needs securing, and contact the appropriate help. But spiritually, the enemy wants confusion to become panic, because panic makes you forget who is watching over you. God is revealing His protection over your home right now, not because you have failed, but because your peace is being restored. The pressure has intensified this week because you are learning not to react to every shadow, every sound, or every fearful thought. It changes in the next few minutes. The anxiety, the confusion, and the feeling of vulnerability begin to lose their authority, and this protection is not appearing by luck. It is connected to the prayers you prayed, the boundaries you established, and the wisdom you chose instead of fear. Think back to that moment this week, when you refused to open the door to chaos, when you ignored the argument, ended the conversation, or chose not to invite the wrong energy into your space. You may have thought you were being distant or overly cautious, but that restraint was discernment. That silence protected your atmosphere. You did not find this message by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here alone. Divine guidance brought this reminder at a moment when your spirit needed grounding. In the next few minutes, you will receive a protection decree for your home, a simple spiritual reset for the atmosphere, and a prayer to help you release fear without ignoring practical wisdom. Do not leave in panic. Your future self needs you calm, alert, and anchored. The enemy has been whispering. Your home is exposed. You are unprotected. Something terrible is coming. But that is not your verdict. Psalm 121 declares, "The Lord shall preserve your going out and your coming in." That is not decoration, it is a decree. Your home is not governed by fear. Your household is not abandoned. The heaviness you feel is not proof of danger. It may be the moment fear is finally leaving, and peace is taking its place. Some messages don't just inform, they activate. If something stirred deep in your spirit just now, you may be ready to receive the Chosen One's blueprint. This sacred guide reveals the 8 divine patterns behind your calling, your suffering, and your destiny. It also comes with the full audiobook, so you can absorb it during prayer, rest, or quiet moments with God. And for those called to speak His truth, you'll also receive Activating Your Prophet Mantle, a powerful bonus ebook for those carrying a prophetic assignment. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. Now breathe slowly. Let your shoulders come down. Let your jaw relax, and remind your body that you do not have to solve every possibility in this single moment. Do not allow fear to become the loudest voice in your home. Fear may knock loudly, repeat the same accusation, and paint every shadow as a threat, but volume is not the same as authority. Protection is not panic. Protection is clarity. Protection is knowing when to pray, when to remain still, and when to take wise action. If there is an immediate physical danger, do not open the door, do not confront anyone, and contact emergency services or someone you trust. Spiritual trust never cancels practical wisdom. Sometimes the answer to your prayer is a locked door, a phone call, a working smoke alarm, a changed password, or the discernment to stop giving access to someone who has repeatedly violated your peace. Sometimes God protects you through the wisdom to leave before the argument escalates, through the courage to tell someone what is happening, or through the simple decision to take your own uneasiness seriously. There is something many people misunderstand about divine protection. They assume that if God is watching over them, nothing uncomfortable will ever come near them. They imagine protection as a glass covering that keeps every sorrow, threat, disappointment, and difficult conversation outside the borders of their lives. But the presence of danger does not prove the absence of God. Daniel was still in the lion's den, but he was not abandoned there. The stone walls did not mean that heaven had forgotten him. The lions were present, yet their mouths were restrained by a power greater than the threat surrounding him. The disciples still faced the storm, but the storm did not have the final authority over their destination. Jesus was with them in the boat before the wind became still, and his presence was not made less real because the waves were high. Protection does not always mean the absence of pressure. Sometimes it means the pressure will not possess you, the threat will not define you, and what was meant to destroy you will become the place where your faith gains evidence. A shield does not mean there are no arrows. It means the arrows do not get the final word. A lighthouse does not remove the ocean or calm every wave, but it gives the sailor a point of reference when the horizon disappears. In the same way, God may not prevent every difficult moment, but he can keep difficulty from becoming your identity. You may walk through the valley, but the valley does not become your name. You may pass through fire, but fire does not have permission to consume the purpose placed within you. But this is where you must become honest with yourself. Have you been asking God to protect your home while continuing to invite chaos through the doors of your attention, your habits, and your relationships? A house is not only made vulnerable by what stands outside it. Sometimes vulnerability begins with what has been normalized inside. Constant conflict, secret resentment, uncontrolled anger, reckless decisions, addiction, and unresolved grief can turn a place of shelter into a place of exhaustion. A home can have strong locks and still be filled with emotional trespassers. It can have beautiful rooms and still feel cold because every conversation carries suspicion. It can look peaceful from the street while everyone inside is quietly bracing for the next explosion. So tonight, do not merely ask, "Who is against me?" Ask, "What atmosphere am I helping to maintain?" Ask it without self-hatred, but with courage. What do your words teach the people around you to expect? Do they expect comfort or criticism? Do they expect comfort or criticism? Do they expect honesty or hidden punishment? Do they feel that mistakes can be repaired, or that every failure will be remembered forever? The atmosphere of a home is formed one decision at a time, through the tone of a voice, the subjects no one is allowed to discuss, the habits everyone pretends not to notice, and the kindness that is either practiced or withheld. Joshua declared that his household would serve the Lord, and notice the strength of that declaration. He did not wait for every enemy to disappear before establishing the order of his home. He made a decision about the spiritual direction of his household. He understood that a household cannot drift indefinitely and still expect to arrive somewhere holy. At some point, someone must say, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." That declaration was not a claim that the family would never struggle. It was a commitment about what would govern them when struggle came. You can do the same. Speak peace where shouting has become normal. Remove what continually pulls your family toward fear. Stop treating disorder as inevitable. Clean the room. Repair the broken lock. Settle the argument. Delete the contact. Turn off the noise and make room for God's presence to be recognized again. Do not underestimate the spiritual meaning of ordinary obedience. The repaired door may become a reminder that you are allowed to secure your life. The conversation you finally have may open a window in a room that has felt suffocating for years. The decision to stop feeding an unhealthy habit may become the first brick in a new foundation. Holiness is not always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like choosing a different response at the exact moment the old response would have been easier. And this leads us to something most people miss. Protection often begins with boundaries. A boundary is not hatred. A boundary is stewardship. A boundary says, "This matters, and because it matters, I will not leave it unguarded." Nehemiah rebuilt the walls of Jerusalem because holy things still require gates. He prayed, but he also posted guards. He trusted God's, be trusted God's, be trusted God, but he did not leave every entrance unattended. Faith did not make him careless. Faith made him willing to cooperate with wisdom. He understood that prayer and preparation could stand side by side without competing with one another. In the same way, you can forgive someone without giving them unrestricted access. You can love your family without allowing manipulation to rule the household. You can remain compassionate without becoming careless. You can answer a message later instead of immediately. You can refuse to discuss sensitive matters with someone who has repeatedly weaponized your vulnerability. You can say no without writing an essay to justify your no. You can choose distance without wishing harm upon the person from whom you are creating distance. A gate is not proof that the city hates everyone outside. It is proof that the city hates everyone outside. It is proof that the city understands the value of what is inside. Coming up is the part that challenges the way many people define faith, because sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is stop explaining your warning away. Stay with me, because the wisdom you need may already be pressing against your conscience. That uneasy feeling you have been dismissing may not be a prophecy of disaster. It may simply be discernment asking you to pay attention. Not every sensation is a supernatural warning, and not every fear is a message from heaven. This is why you must test what you feel. Scripture tells us to test the spirits, and wisdom does not fear examination. Fear rushes you toward confusion and dramatic conclusions. Wisdom brings you into sober awareness. Fear says, something terrible is definitely happening. Wisdom says, slow down, observe, verify, and respond responsibly. There is a difference between a warning and a wound being touched. Sometimes the body remembers what the mind has tried to forget, and an ordinary situation activates an old fear. That does not mean you should ignore yourself, but it does mean you should seek understanding before making a final judgment. Ask what is known, what is assumed, what evidence is present, and what response would preserve both safety and truth. Discernment is not suspicion toward everyone. It is the ability to distinguish between what deserves attention and what merely demands reaction. The prophet Elijah learned that God was not always found in the earthquake, the wind, or the fire. There was a quieter voice beneath the spectacle. That matters for you. Do not let loud spiritual language make you ignore the quiet instructions that could preserve your peace. Check the doors. Check on the people you love. Make sure your appliances are safe. Keep emergency numbers available. Secure your personal information. If someone has threatened you, document it and seek help. If your home environment is unsafe, reach out to a trusted person or professional support. Divine protection can move through ordinary means. The God who parted the sea also gave Israel wisdom about camp order. The God who shut the mouths of lions also gave people the ability to notice danger and flee from it. There is no shame in using the resources available to you. A counselor, advocate, doctor, trusted friend, pastor, or emergency service may become part of the answer you have been praying for. Do not reject help simply because it arrives in an ordinary form. A hand extended through another person can still carry the mercy of God. But once the practical matters are handled, you must confront the inner storm. Some homes are physically secure but emotionally unguarded. Everyone is present, but no one feels safe enough to speak. Everyone shares a roof, but everyone lives behind separate walls of silence. The refrigerator is full, the bills are paid, and the house appears stable, yet the hearts within it are hungry for tenderness. God is not only interested in preserving the building, He desires to restore the refuge. A protected home is not necessarily a perfect home. It is a home where truth can be spoken without cruelty, where repentance is possible, where children are not forced to carry adult burdens, and where love is not used as a disguise for control. It is a place where someone can say, "I was wrong," without being permanently reduced to that mistake. It is a place where tears are not mocked, questions are not punished, and silence is not used as a weapon. Peace does not mean that no one ever disagrees. Peace means disagreement does not have to become destruction. This is where your authority begins to mature. You are not called to control every person under your roof. You are called to govern your own spirit. Proverbs says that the one who rules their spirit is stronger than the one who captures a city. That is a startling kind of strength. It means your greatest defense may not be winning the argument. It may be refusing to become the very darkness you are praying against. You can close the door without slamming it. You can tell the truth without destroying someone. You can stand firm without becoming hard. Self-control is not weakness, and gentleness is not surrender. Jesus could be compassionate and confrontational, tender and truthful, welcoming and discerning. He did not give every person unlimited access to his inner life, and he did not allow the demands of the crowd to determine every movement. There were moments when he withdrew to pray. If the Son of God made room for solitude, you should not feel guilty for needing quiet. Sometimes you are not losing your love for people. You are recovering the clarity required to love them wisely. And just when you think the danger is only outside, another layer appears. Sometimes the threat is not an enemy waiting at the gate. Sometimes it is exhaustion making you careless, resentment making you reactive, or pride convincing you that you do not need help. Samson did not lose his strength in a single dramatic moment. He kept crossing small lines until he could no longer recognize how exposed he had become. That is why today's protection may require you to take seriously the small compromises you have been calling harmless. A neglected warning can become a crisis. A small lie repeated often can become a hidden system. A little bitterness nourished every night can eventually color every relationship. A habit that steals an hour may eventually steal your attention, your health, and your ability to respond with patience. The enemy of peace is not always a sudden attack. Sometimes it is the slow erosion of what you refused to maintain. Walls weaken gradually before they fall visibly. That is why wisdom pays attention to small cracks while repair is still possible. What have you been permitting because confronting it would be inconvenient? What conversation have you delayed because you wanted to keep the appearance of peace? What habit has been draining the very alertness you need? What person has access to your private life simply because you feel guilty saying no? You cannot ask for a guarded home while leaving every emotional entrance wide open. You cannot keep handing the keys to someone and then wonder why they keep rearranging the rooms. But do not hear this as condemnation. God is not exposing these things to shame you. He is revealing them because what is revealed can be repaired. A physician cannot treat what a patient refuses to name. A builder cannot strengthen a wall while pretending the crack is not there. Bring the hidden weakness into the light. Ask for help where help is needed. Apologize without excuses. Change the routine. Seek counseling if the household has been marked by trauma, violence, or addiction. Prayer and wise support are not opposites. They can become two hands lifting the same burden. Grace does not mean pretending the wound is not bleeding. Grace gives you the courage to clean it, cover it, and begin the healing process. If you have contributed to the disorder, humility can become the doorway to restoration. If someone else has harmed you, forgiveness does not require you to deny the harm or remain exposed to it. Healing may include distance, documentation, treatment, accountability, and time. Let God lead you into wholeness, not into a performance of spirituality that keeps everyone comfortable while you continue to suffer in silence. Now let me challenge you with something deeper. You may believe that trusting God's protection means you should never feel afraid. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is refusing to let fear make your decisions. The women who went to the tomb that morning were afraid, yet they kept moving toward obedience. Their fear did not disqualify them from witnessing the miracle. Your trembling does not mean your faith has failed. It means you are human and you can still choose wisdom, love, and action while your emotions are unsettled. Faith is not always a shout. Sometimes it is the next small step taken with unsteady feet. Sometimes it is the next small step taken with unsteady feet. Sometimes it is breathing before responding. Sometimes it is making the appointment, telling the truth, leaving the unsafe environment, or asking someone to sit with you through the night. Do not demand that your emotions become peaceful before you obey what is wise. The sea did not part for Moses until he moved forward. Your confidence may grow after you act, not before. There may be a reason this message found you at this exact moment, not because you are doomed, but because you are being awakened from passivity. You have been waiting for a dramatic sign, while ignoring the instruction that has repeated itself for months. You have been asking God to change the atmosphere, while refusing to change your participation in it. You have been praying for a new season, while protecting the old pattern that keeps reproducing the same pain. Sometimes the sign is the pattern itself. The same argument, the same betrayal, the same exhaustion, the same apology without change, the same promise that never becomes action. Heaven may not need to send another sign when the evidence has already been placed in front of you. Pay attention to what consistently produces fear, confusion, and depletion. Pay attention also to what produces clarity, humility, and peace. A new season often begins when you stop negotiating with the lesson of the old one. And here is the confrontation. The thing endangering your peace may not be the person you keep blaming. It may be your attachment to being needed by everyone. It may be your refusal to disappoint people who have never protected your heart. It may be your addiction to crisis because stillness forces you to face what you feel. It may be the belief that if you stop managing everyone else's emotions, everything will collapse. But you are not the savior of your household. You are a steward, not a substitute for God. You were never designed to sit on the throne of everyone's life. That seat belongs to God. When you try to control every outcome, you may call it responsibility, but underneath it may be fear. When you rush to fix every conflict, you may call it love, but underneath it may be the terror of being rejected. When you keep rescuing people from consequences, you may call it mercy, but you may also be preventing them from becoming accountable. Stewardship asks you to care deeply without pretending you can carry what only God can carry. Moses had to learn this when he tried to carry the entire burden of the people alone. His father-in-law saw what Moses could not see. His exhaustion was becoming unsustainable. Sometimes the protection God is bringing is not a supernatural war around you. Sometimes it is the permission to delegate, rest, receive counsel, and stop pretending that strength means carrying everything without support. Even the strongest leader can become brittle when there is no margin in the soul. A lamp that is never refilled eventually goes dark, not because it was never valuable, but because it was never replenished. You need sleep. You need nourishment. You need honest friendship. You need moments when you are not solving, defending, organizing, or anticipating the next emergency. Rest is not an interruption to your assignment. It is part of how you remain available for it. Elijah received food and sleep before he received further instruction, and that detail carries mercy for anyone who has been trying to hear God while completely depleted. And here is the part you probably did not expect. The greatest danger to your home may not be what is attacking it. It may be your belief that you have to remain afraid in order to remain prepared. Fear has convinced many people that constant tension is the same as vigilance. It is not. A nervous system trapped in alarm cannot hear clearly. A family trained to expect catastrophe cannot recognize peace when peace arrives. God is not asking you to build your identity around threat detection. He is teaching you how to become watchful without becoming imprisoned by fear. There is a difference between having a plan and living in a permanent emergency. A plan gives you steps. Panic takes away your ability to think. A plan says, if this happens, I will call for help. Panic says, something must happen and I must suffer now. A plan can be written, practiced, and set down. Panic keeps pacing through the rooms of the mind long after the danger has passed. You are allowed to prepare without rehearsing tragedy every hour. You are allowed to be alert without becoming addicted to alarm. So tonight, let your home become a place of conscious agreement. Agree with truth, not rumors. Agree with wisdom, not panic. Agree with forgiveness, not denial. Agree with boundaries, not bitterness. Agree with courage, not reckless bravado. Walk through your rooms if you need to, not as someone searching for an invisible enemy, but as someone reclaiming responsibility for the atmosphere you help create. Let your words become gentler. Let your decisions become clearer. Let the people under your care know that safety is not merely a word you pray, it is a value you practice. Perhaps place a small reminder where you will see it in the morning. Peace is practiced here. Let it remind you that the atmosphere can change through repeated choices. A calm answer can interrupt an inherited pattern. A sincere apology can soften a hardened room. A shared meal can restore a connection that endless screens have weakened. A prayer spoken without performance can remind everyone that they are not alone. Your home does not need to become a sanctuary in one night. It can become one decision at a time. Before you sleep, place your hand on your heart and speak this with me. I release panic, confusion, and every fear that has ruled my thoughts. I ask God for clear discernment, steady courage, and wisdom that can be acted upon. I will not ignore practical danger, and I will not invent danger where there is no evidence. I choose to guard my home with prayer, responsibility, truth, and love. I release the burden of controlling everyone around me. I welcome peace into my mind, order into my decisions, and healing into my relationships. Every harmful pattern that I have the power to change, I confront with humility. Every boundary I need to establish, I establish without shame. My home will not be governed by panic. My household will be guided by wisdom. I am not abandoned, I am not powerless, and I do not have to walk through this alone. Now take one wise action before this day ends. Check what needs checking. Make the call you have been postponing. Lock what needs locking. Reach out if you are unsafe. Pray with your family if they are willing, and let your next decision prove that faith has made you clearer, not more afraid. If this message brought peace or conviction to your spirit, write, "My home is covered in wisdom and peace" in the comments, not as a magic formula, but as a personal declaration. And if someone you love has been living under fear, share this with them gently. Let this be the moment you stop feeding panic and begin building a home where protection is practiced, peace is welcomed, and God's presence is recognized in both the miraculous and the ordinary.